Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Friends, peace be unto you and the mercy of Allah and His blessings. Um, I'm going to continue my talk um, about the Hijri calendar and specifically about my Malik-ul-Mulk Hijri calendar, um, which I think is a wonderful product, a veritable work of art. There you go. Right, Malik-ul-Mulk Hijri calendar. It's not the sort of thing I would think, offhand, oh, I can do this. But, I typed it up on the computer and then I took it to Staples and had them do it up on calendar type paper, glazed and all of that kind of stuff with the, whatchamacallit at the top and the hole punched so that you can hang it up on your wall. It's a wonderful product. And it's available. I need to update it for the coming year, which should be 1447. I did update it for 1446, but I'm a terrible salesman. I think it's a wonderful product, but then I'm in the tradition of so many people in the past. Do you know when you get photocopies done, right? This depends on having photocopies done, right? The man who invented that process went from one company to another, one company to another. Now, we take it for granted, but he took it from one company to another, and they nobody was interested. They couldn't see any interest in this product. Now, we've been using it for, I don't know how many years, half a century or more. Um, and so to us, it seemed, well, how could somebody not see it? But they didn't see it until he finally found a company. It might have been Kodak, I forget. But, this is what happens with ideas. There was a man who came up with a computer program for finding serial killers. And he went from one law enforcement agency to another. They weren't interested. And they had all these cold cases. Obviously, somebody was going around killing people and they couldn't find whoever it was, right? And this man said he had a computer program that would help them find people. And he finally found a law enforcement agency that used it, and they immediately found all of these people who were killing people. It worked, but when he was trying to sell it, nobody was interested. So similarly, I find myself in the tradition of people who had excellent ideas, excellent products, and people say, "Oh no, I'm not interested in that." And so, Allah willing, you don't really fail until you just totally give up. Okay, so this is my product, the Malik-ul-Mulk. That's the name I go by. Malik meaning king, Mulk dominion. A Hijri calendar. And as you know, Hijri refers to the migration of Muhammad and his followers out of persecution and murder um, in Mecca because he was going against their idols, right? Changing their entire way of life. They couldn't let that happen. So they persecuted them, murdered them. And Muhammad was protected because he had a large and powerful family. Um, but people who didn't have that, were at risk. So eventually they migrated to another city whose name was Yathrib at the time, but it became known as Madinatul Nabi, the city of the prophet. And we've shortened it to Medina, which simply means city. But they migrated. And so the year of their migration was eventually designated as the first year, the beginning of the Hijri year. Okay, so this is what that calendar celebrates. As you may know, the we are living by a Christian calendar, which celebrates the birth of a man said to be the Son of God, right? The Son of God. This is terrible. Okay. Um, the creator of the heavens and the earth, when he wants something to happen, he simply says, be, and it is. To us, it may be a long drawn out process, like 13.9 billion years, but to him, it's just, and him is doesn't refer to a male biological sex. Um, but to him, it's be, and it is. Right? To us, it's a long time, but to him, it's be, and it is. And so, a human being, please, he wants to create us. He he says to the womb of our mother, be, and you are. This is how we came into the world. So anyway, but this calendar celebrates a historical event. And let me just go through, uh, I wanted to go through the meanings of the names of the month, to the extent, the early followers of Muhammad didn't change the names of the month, uh, of most of the months, almost all of them. So the months, and originally the months must have corresponded to the sun, lunar calendar, but I mean a solar calendar. But this is a strict lunar calendar, so the seasons don't correspond to the months, even though the third and fourth months are called spring, right? So let's go. Al Muharram, when something is said to be haram, that means forbidden. Well, this is a month that's called Al Muharram, forbidden. That's the name of the month, Muharram. And then Safar means void. Okay. There are explanations for this, but I'm just going to go through this quickly. Rabi al Awwal, the first spring. And then the fourth month, Rabi al Thani, or Rabi al Akhir, the second spring, or the last spring. Jamad al Ula, um, uh, long explanation. The parched land, it says here. This is the first of the parched land. And Jamad Thania, the second of the parched land, or Jamad al Akhirah, the last of the parched land. That's the sixth month. The seventh month is Rajab, which means respect, honor. The next month, Sha'ban, the eighth month, Sha'ban means scattered. The ninth month, Ramadan, is about burning heat, burning heat. The 10th month, Shawwal, means raised. This is a month of, as I said before, Lu means with, or companion. Lu this or Lu that. It's always connected to the word that follows. Lu we remember what do they say? How to pronounce it? Al-Qaeda, well, it's Qa'da, Al-Qaeda. It means sitting, like you sit in a meeting. Most people don't realize this, but president means one who presides, right? Presides. Um, I'm trying to think of another one. But we say he's a sitting president, right? He sits. Qa'da means sitting. Um, okay. And so this is Dhul Qa'dah, the 11th month, and Dhul Hijjah. And this is the month of pilgrimage, okay? Al Hajj, Dhul Hijjah. So those are the 12 months of the lunar calendar, the Hijri calendar. Um, so this is the second month, Safar, which now I forget what it said. Safar means void. uh, because the Arab houses were empty this time of year when the occupants went out to gather food. Interesting. But calendars have history in them, history and belief systems and whatnot. So, Safar. Um, and so, what I did uh, with the image, if you look, at night, um, you'll see, in this picture, there's the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, the Milky Way galaxy in the sky, and I put the text over it, and the text goes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسماء ذات البروج Dhati is the feminine of Lu. Okay, Dhati. والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود. Now, if I remember, what does this mean? والسماء by the sky. This is a grammatical form we don't have in English. There was a sportscaster who said "Holy cow," but what does "Holy cow" mean? But we just say "Holy cow." I had to have this habit of saying "Good grief," you know, uh, and whatnot. But these are just called outbursts. There's a word for it, but I've forgotten it. But there's with some or with shams by the sun well, qamar, wah, wah, whatever that follows, our attention is being called to whatever it is. So it's not just an outburst. It has meaning, but there's no grammatical and form in English that corresponds to that. Um, there are probably languages that don't have questions. If you want to know something, you say, "Tell me this." Not "What is this?" They say, "Tell me this," right? But offhand, I can't name one. But I was trying to think of an example of a grammatical form that a language may have, but is not in other languages. So this one, was sama, calling our attention to the sky, sama, that il buruj, and buruj. Um, it's translated nowadays as galaxy, or could mean constellation. I mean, at the time that this came down, people didn't know you didn't have constellations. I mean, up until 100 years ago, what we call the Milky Way, not constellations, galaxies, what we call the Milky Way galaxy was just the sky. It was the universe. It was the cosmos. It was, and 100 years ago, Edwin Hubble discovered that, oh no, this is just one galaxy among many. And now there are over a trillion galaxies. So Buruj is nowadays, they say it means a galaxy. And at this time, it would be understood as meaning a constellation, the big stars. But I use it for this thing because because we're in the outer reaches of the galaxy, along the plane of the galaxy, the outer reaches of the galaxy, along the plane of the galaxy. Um, we can see it, right? As if we're on the outside. We're actually in it. Okay. While Yawm Ma'ud and the promised day was Shahid and Mashhud, and the witness and what is witnessed. Uh, قتل أصحاب الأخدود. Drop dead. I mean, that's the only way I know how to translate that into English. Kutala means killed, but it's like a whoosh, drop dead. Made the companions of the trench drop dead because these people had. This was an incident in the time before Muhammad, in southern Arabia, where the leader had converted to Judaism. For some reason, this made him agreeable to the Iranian Empire, which had, when it was founded, the leader, Cyrus, was agreeable, was helpful to the Jews, sent them back home out of exile, returned their treasures. So at any rate, but he converted to Judaism, and then there were Christians in his kingdom, and they refused to give up their beliefs, and so they dug a ditch and threw the people into the ditch and killed them. Okay. Dude made the companions of the ditch die. It was talking about the people who threw the other people into the ditch. And now that I've forgotten what the food means. The food, and now the sky, the fire, and that again, the feminine of Lu, the companion of the Waqud. Now, I included in this Quran at the back, you have the translations. Okay, so Safar, um, I'm sorry. Wow. This is not a translation. Nope. I have discovered a grievous mistake in my Hijri calendar. Okay, let me go to the next because it's actually in the wrong place. Um, and even then, I don't have the proper translation. Well, see now, if you bought it, you could complain to me, "Hey, this is wrong." So now I have to go correct it. But the now I don't have the translation of food in it, but Safar, and this is the Arabic up here, and this is why we need to help each other with things because someone who was helping with this could see the mistake and correct it. Now I have to go back and go into the files and correct it, and so the next edition that comes out will be corrected. But that is the month of Safar, and so Allah willing, next month Rabi al-Awwal. Okay, hopefully I can correct some of these mistakes. Um, but inshallah, tomorrow or the next day or whenever, I will continue with this calendar. Um, and inshallah, someone will buy it, or hopefully somebody will say, give me 100 and have 100 printed up and I can get some money and he can get some money and 100 people can get this wonderful uh, Malik-ul-Mulk Hijri calendar. Okay, may Allah bless you with an excellent day, year, year, and inshallah, we will continue. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.